Hey Vikings Nation, get ready, because something big might be brewing in the trenches, and it could seriously reshape the future of this defense. We're talking about a name that's tough, experienced, and built for battle in the NFC North. And trust me, if this move happens, it's going to hit differently. There's a growing buzz around the Minnesota Vikings possibly making a move that would not only strengthen the defensive line, but also shake things up inside the division. A former rival, a proven run-stopper, a player who knows exactly how to battle the best offenses in this league. And here's the question I've got for you right now. Should the Vikings go all in and steal a key piece from a division opponent? Because what we're about to break down could be one of the smartest under-the-radar moves of the offseason. The Vikings are still actively searching for help at defensive tackle as we move deeper into NFL free agency. That need hasn't gone away, and if anything, it's becoming more urgent with every passing day. One name that's starting to gain traction is DJ Reader, a veteran defensive tackle who most recently played for the Detroit Lions. And yeah, you heard that right. A division rival who could now flip sides and wear purple. According to reports and analysis, Minnesota is being viewed as one of the best possible landing spots for Reader. And when you start looking at the numbers and the situation, it actually makes a lot of sense. Now let's talk about what kind of player Reader really is. He's not the flashy, pass-rushing interior guy that racks up double-digit sacks. But that's not his game. His value comes in doing the dirty work. He's a physical presence in the middle, a true anchor against the run, and someone who can absorb blocks and free up linebackers to make plays. That's the kind of impact that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet, but wins games. Even at 32 years old, Reader has proven he can still compete at a high level. He's durable, consistent, and exactly the type of veteran presence that can stabilize a defensive front. Last season with the Lions, Reader started all 17 games, even while dealing with a back injury. That alone tells you everything about his toughness and commitment. He finished the season with 28 total tackles and 4 quarterback hits. Not eye-popping numbers, but again, that's not his primary role in the defense. What matters more is availability and reliability. And Reader has played at least 14 games in each of the last 3 seasons. In today's NFL, that kind of consistency is incredibly valuable. Looking at his full career, Reader has appeared in 137 games and recorded 328 total tackles, including 27 tackles for loss. Those are solid numbers for a player in his role. He's also contributed 56 quarterback hits, 12 sacks, and 9 pass deflections throughout his career. So while he's not a pure pass rusher, he can still disrupt plays when needed. And let's not forget, this is a guy who has played for multiple teams, including the Houston Texans, Cincinnati Bengals, and Detroit Lions. He brings experience from different systems and coaching styles. Now here's where things get really interesting for the Vikings. This offseason, the team made some major cap-saving moves that left a big hole in the defensive interior. They parted ways with veteran defensive tackles Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. And just like that, a huge chunk of production and snaps disappeared. Allen alone played around 75% of the defensive snaps last season, while Hargrave contributed just over 50%. Combined, that's roughly 1,370 snaps that now need to be replaced. That's not something you fix overnight, and it's definitely not something you can rely solely on young players to handle without help. Right now, the Vikings do have some internal options. Jalen Redmond and Levi Drake Rodriguez are expected to return and potentially take on bigger roles. Both players showed flashes last season, and they've earned the opportunity to step up. But asking them to completely fill that massive gap in playing time, that's a huge challenge. Even if they improve and take on more snaps, it's unrealistic to expect them to cover nearly 1,400 additional plays by themselves. That's exactly why bringing in a veteran like Reader makes so much sense. He can immediately step in, take on a significant workload, and provide stability. And let's talk about the impact he had with the Lions. With Reader anchoring the defensive line, Detroit had one of the more respectable run defenses in the league. They finished 14th in rushing yards allowed last season and were even better the year before, ranking 5th. That's not a coincidence, that's impact. However, it's worth noting they struggled with yards allowed per carry, ranking in the bottom half of the league in that category. So he's not a perfect solution, but he's still a strong piece. Now imagine adding that kind of presence to the Vikings' defensive front. A guy who can plug gaps, eat double teams, and allow playmakers to thrive around him. It's not just about stats, it's about structure. It's about building a defense that can hold up against physical running games in the NFC. And let's be real, if the Vikings want to compete deep into the season, they need to get tougher in the trenches. That's non-negotiable. Financially, this move could also work. Reader's projected market value is around $7.7 million on a 2-year deal, according to estimates. That's a reasonable price for a starting-caliber defensive tackle with his experience and durability, especially when you consider the void the Vikings need to fill. It's not a blockbuster signing, but it's the kind of smart, calculated move that winning teams make. Of course, there's always another option, looking ahead to the NFL draft. The Vikings currently hold 4 picks in the top 100, giving them flexibility. They could target a young defensive tackle and build for the future. But rookies take time to develop, and this team has needs right now. That's why a veteran like Reader could be the perfect bridge. Someone who can contribute immediately while younger players grow into their roles. And let me ask you this, Vikings fans, would you rather roll the dice on a rookie or bring in a proven veteran who knows how to battle in this division? Because stealing a key piece from a rival like the Lions? That's not just a roster move, that's a statement. It sends a message that the Vikings are serious about competing, serious about improving, and not afraid to make bold decisions. So keep your eyes on this situation, because things could develop quickly as free agency continues. And if this move happens, don't be surprised if it ends up being one of the most underrated signings of the entire offseason. Now I want to hear from you. Should the Vikings sign DJ Reader or go all in on the draft? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. And if you're loving these updates and want to stay on top of all the latest Minnesota Vikings news, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your fellow Vikings fans. Because this offseason is just getting started, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Skol!